Imagine stepping through a hidden doors into a world where priceless art treasures lie behind velvet ropes and high-security vaults. These aren't museum galleries open to the public, but secretive troves guarded by billionaires, royalty, and moguls. In this journey, we'll venture inside the world's most exclusive art collections, from clandestine warehouses overflowing with Picassos to royal palaces brimming with masterpieces. Each collection holds not only staggering monetary value, but also untold stories of passion, prestige, and mystery. This is art at its most luxurious and elusive, curated by the ultra-wealthy for eyes that are few and privileged. Strap in as we lift the veil on these hidden galleries of the rich and powerful, and discover how these collectors have turned art into an obsession, and in some cases, a well-kept secret meant to awe the world. Let's explore these exclusive collections, whose contents can inspire wonder, envy, and debate in equal measure, and see what emotional chords they strike when masterpieces are hoarded away from public view. The Nahmad brothers' hidden vault of masterpieces. In the shadowy corridors of the art world, few names command as much intrigue as David and Ezra Nahmad. These reclusive billionaire brothers have quietly amassed what is widely considered the largest private art trove on the planet, valued at roughly $3.5 billion. Their collection includes an astonishing 4,500 plus works, among them an unparalleled 300 paintings by Pablo Picasso, all housed in a high-security, duty-free warehouse in Geneva, Switzerland. This warehouse, located in the famous Geneva Freeport, is a nondescript fortress of crates and steel that offers anonymity, tax advantage, and top-notch security for the Nahmad's priceless hoard. The public rarely, if ever, gets a glimpse of these artworks. They remain tucked away in climate-controlled vaults, an art stockpile the brothers treat much like a financial portfolio. In fact, the Nahmads revolutionized art dealing by treating paintings like stocks, buying up blue-chip masterpieces when prices were low, then holding or trading them strategically as values soared. It's hard not to feel a mix of awe and mystery when considering the Nahmad vault. Here, somewhere in those 15,000 square foot storage rooms, lie canvases by Monet, Matisse, Renoir, Rothko, and more, stacked in racks like gold bars. The brothers' strategy of quietly purchasing undervalued art over decades has resulted in a treasure trove so vast that it could rival a national museum's holdings. Yet it's all behind closed doors. The Geneva Freeport itself adds to the aura, often described as the world's most secretive art warehouse, a place where over 1 million artworks are stored by various owners under one roof. Walking its identical corridors lined with locked metal doors, you'd never guess that behind one might sit hundreds of Picassos and other masterpieces the Nahmads own. The anonymity and secrecy are deliberate. Within the Freeport, art isn't just protected from theft or damage, it's also shielded from taxes and prying eyes. For the brothers, this means they can buy and sell without moving pieces in and out of customs, keeping transactions largely in the shadows. The British Royal Collection, a king's ransom in art. Not all exclusive art troves belong to businessmen, some belong to monarchs. The British Royal Collection, overseen by King Charles III, is often cited as the largest private art collection in the world. It's essentially the accumulated artistic heritage of the United Kingdom's royal family over centuries, and its scale is almost unimaginable. Spread across 13 regal residences and palaces, the collection boasts over 1 million individual objects, including around 7,000 paintings and a staggering 700,000 works of art and decorative pieces of all kinds. These numbers are almost dizzying. Everything from old master canvases by Titian, Vermeer, and Rembrandt, to exquisite sculptures, tapestries, antique furniture, and even historic carriages and arms are part of this royal hoard. Many of the greatest works were acquired by kings and queens of the past. For instance, Charles I's passion for collecting brought in masterpieces that still grace the halls of Buckingham Palace and Windsor Castle today. Walking through those lavish state rooms, one might see a famous Canaletto cityscape, a portrait by Van Dyck, or sketches by Leonardo da Vinci, all of which are in the royal collection. What makes the Royal Collection exclusive is not wealth alone, but also history and tradition. These artworks have adorned the walls of palaces for generations, often kept as part of the crown's legacy rather than sold off. There's an emotional weight to these pieces. Each portrait of a monarch or each gilded artifact connects to the story of a nation. While parts of the collection are open to the public through palace tours and special exhibitions, for example, the Queen's Gallery in Buckingham Palace rotates exhibits of the Royal Collection's highlights. The vast majority resides behind palace doors, accessible mostly to the royal family and their guests. Imagine the countless treasures tucked away in private royal apartments or vaults. The sketches of Michelangelo, the jewel-encrusted furniture, the gifts from other emperors and sultans. Items rarely shown, yet preserved with utmost care. David Geffen, Hollywood magnate's secret gallery. When it comes to art collecting heavyweights, David Geffen stands in a league of his own. The entertainment mogul, co-founder of DreamWorks and famed record executive, has quietly assembled one of the most significant private art collections ever, particularly renowned for its depth in post-war American art. Geffen's name might not be as instantly associated with art as, say, some museum benefactors, but within art circles, his collection is almost mythical. It's been valued around $2.3 billion, replacing it among the priciest on the planet, and notably, it's said to be the largest collection owned by a single individual, as opposed to a family or royal trust. What has Geffen spent all that money on? Masterpieces, plain and simple. His holdings have included Jackson Pollock's drip paintings, Mark Rothko's color fields, Willem de Kooning's bold abstractions, and Jasper Johns' iconic works, essentially a who's who of 20th century American art innovation. If you picture the kind of paintings that hang in the MoMA or the Met, chances are Geffen has owned a comparable piece, if not one of the very ones that got away from those institutions. Yet, for all its museum-quality splendor, Geffen's collection is largely kept behind closed doors, in his homes and offices, and thus remains a source of intrigue. Unlike some collectors, Geffen hasn't established a public museum or a foundation to display his art. He's more akin to a private dealer who just happens to never need to sell unless he chooses to. In fact, Geffen has been as shrewd in art as in business. He's not only collected but also traded art with remarkable timing. Famously, he sold Pollock's No. 5, 1948, and de Kooning's Woman the Third in private deals in 2006, fetching around $140 million and $137 million respectively, record-breaking numbers at the time. By letting go of just 2 paintings, he reportedly pocketed over $250 million. These sales hinted at the caliber of works he had in his cache. To have multiple paintings, each worth over $100 million, is astounding. And also that he's not overly sentimental if the price is right. After those sales, it was estimated Geffen's remaining collection still sat around the $2.3 billion mark. In other words, even after selling off what most would consider crown jewels, he had plenty more in reserve, enough to still rival the collection of his friend Eli Broad, another LA billionaire collector, as one of the world's top collections. The Niarchos legacy, Van Gogh's Under Lock and Key. Hidden behind the storied name of Niarchos lies a family art collection of legendary repute. The late Greek shipping magnate Stavros Niarchos wasn't just one of the world's richest men in his time. He was also an avid collector of fine art. When he passed away in 1980, he left behind a jaw-dropping array of masterpieces, a collection so significant that it's whispered about with awe. His son, Philip Niarchos, inherited this treasure trove, which has only grown in value and perhaps size over the past few decades. Today, the Niarchos collection is estimated to be worth around $2.2 billion, placing it firmly among the planet's most valuable private art holdings. But value aside, it's the contents of this collection that truly spark the imagination. The Niarchos family is rumored to possess the world's largest private stockpile of works by Vincent van Gogh. Yes, Van Gogh, the tormented Dutch genius whose paintings are coveted by every major museum, sits in quantity in the Niarchos vaults. How many Van Goghs exactly? Some reports suggest at least a half dozen, possibly more. One known piece is self-portrait with a bandaged ear. an iconic 1889 painting that Philip Niarchos supposedly acquired. Just think, a painting that could be the crown jewel of any public gallery quietly resides in the Niarchos collection, seen only by a privileged inner circle. And it's not only Van Gogh. Stavros Niarchos had also acquired masterworks by Picasso, Gauguin, El Greco, and others. For instance, he famously bought Picasso's massive masterpiece Yo, Picasso, in 1989 for $47 million, a record at that time. That very canvas now presumably hangs, or is stored, under Niarchos family care. The collection is, in a word, stellar, comprising many trophy artworks that most collectors could only dream of. However, what sets the Niarchos trove apart is the family has maintained a very low profile about their art. There is no Niarchos museum broadcasting their holdings, no detailed catalog accessible to the public. Occasionally, pieces surface, like when they lend a painting to a high-profile exhibition. For example, a Van Gogh or a self-portrait by Picasso from their collection might appear on the walls of the Metropolitan or the Prado for a special show, eliciting murmurs of excitement among curators and viewers in the know. So that's the Niarchos piece. But once the show closes, the art returns to private custody. Somewhere behind vault doors and private jet hangars, masterpieces hang in silence, unseen by the world, but not forgotten. In a world where money buys not just beauty, but secrecy, art becomes more than paint. It becomes power. If this glimpse into the invisible world of the ultra-rich shocked you, imagine what's still hidden. Make sure you subscribe because what's coming next will make this look like the lobby. Welcome to the world you were never meant to see.